really talking, and so Sean's like all confused because there's two big scabby mouths in the truck, and nobody's saying squat.
Yeah.
So we pull up to the front of the house, and Wayne just sits there, and he looks through the windshield, and he looks up at the house. Mm-hmm. And I didn't get out of the truck. I just kind of sat there, and I looked at Wayne, and Sean's like looking back and forth between the two of us, and he's like must have been thinking like, what's going on?
Right.
And Wayne says, "Is he still there?"
Oh, he's been there before.
I said, "Yeah, he is." Shit. "Who is he?" And he said, "He's my grandfather."
Oh. No.
He said he died in that house. I said, "He's such a nice guy." He goes, "Oh, he loved kids." I said, "Yeah, he watches us all the time, and he's always got a smile on his face."
Shit.
And I said, "He scared me once."
Damn it! Did he have a picture of him?
No, he didn't.
Oh shit!
And
that would have been so
not
cool.
Not at that moment.
Right.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, he scared me once, and he said, "How?" And I said, "Well, this is what happened." I explained the situation. He goes, "Yeah, he died up in that front room. My grandparents' beds were," and he described how the room was set up, and that's exactly how my brother and I had our room set up. He said they found him between the two beds. He had a heart attack, and he said, "I'm sure he didn't mean it. He loved kids." And I said, "Yeah, he always stands there and he watches us." I said, "He always wears this gray pinstripe suit," and he laughed and he said, "With the bowler hat." And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "That's what we buried him in. That was his favorite outfit."
Oh, wow.
And he said, tell him I said hello, and tell him I really miss him." And so the next time that I felt him around, I said that, and it was really, that cool feeling, like, oh yeah, this is, I like a cool breeze on my face sort of thing. Yeah. And I'd seen him a few times, but nothing exceptional, as those first few times. Yeah. But it was then Sean's dad gave me a picture, and I brought it home, and I showed my mom, and she's like, "Oh my God, that's him!" And I was like, "Yeah, it totally is him, isn't it?" And and I gave the picture back, and I was like, "Yeah, that's who we keep seeing." And he goes, "Yeah, that's my grandpa."
That's cool.
Pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah. And Wayne actually came over once and walked through the house just to, see it again.
Of course.
Because it used to be his grandparents' place, and he loved it. And my mom was like, "Oh, why don't you invite him over?" and everything. So he came over once, and he just really enjoyed walking around it and stuff.
Wow, eh?
It was a really freaky experience. I loved that house. I absolutely love that house.
It's too bad. I tried to look for pictures of it, try to I guess I'd have to go look. Yeah. And I couldn't find any pictures though. Oh. But what I did find, shall I tell you?
Yes, please.
You already know. Really weird though. This house, you're playing footsies with me.
I'm sorry.
Really weird. Like, this house had so many transitions with people living in it. Like, I don't know. That's why I asked what kind of house it was, because I'm thinking it might have been like a renter's house or a boarding house through the early years, because if it was so big and stuff. I must have found probably, I went from like 1911 all the way to 1943, and just a shit ton of people at various stages that own this house, or live there, or reportedly live there.
Like a census, maybe.
Yeah,
census
like
papers?
I mean, it's almost like I don't know if it turned hands that many times, but like there would be a few people that owned it for like a few years in a time, or lived there in a time. But yeah, it's so weird. Like, so I was just wondering what kind of house it was, like if it was like split up into like apartments or anything when I asked you initially, right? So a few things of note that I found was there was a girl who lived there, and she didn't pass away in the house, but she lived there with her family. I guess she was like a single woman who was 38. She died in the hospital, but I guess she was quite sick beforehand, like a spinster. She lived with her parents there in 1946, and then she passed away. So I mean, sometimes you have spirits that gravitate back and stuff, right? And then the person that I'm thinking that you saw, the date is off, but it all depends on how old Wayne was too, right? Like if he said it was his grandfather. There was a George David Joseph who passed away in 1941 at the family residence, and he was 89 years old. So date-wise and time-wise, that could possibly be the same person.
I think that his name was George.
Yeah.
41, you say?
Yeah, he passed away in 1941, and he was 89 at the time. So, that's who I'm thinking was in the house. That's when you told me there was an older man with a bowler hat. That's exactly who I thought. So, yeah. So, and then there was anything else I found on 169 Horace. It was really weird because it was just like rental ads for rentals continuously, like right up until like the 70s. So I guess they rented out. Yeah, I don't know. I know some of the older homes in St. Boniface were, because like there were 3 and 4 stories, like to heat that place, like those places and stuff. They would like rent out the rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
the
a
top part.
They made it into a kitchen and everything.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just like the house has been through so many hands. I mean, the person's obituary that I found, this George, I mean, he could be one of many people who actually passed in the house, and it wouldn't necessarily be publicized. Right? But a lot of times in the paper prior to 1965, they would always publish where the person lived in the obituaries. So in that regard, unless it didn't make the paper, but newspapers were sensationalized. Like they loved to report on that stuff, right? It was like tabloids at the time. Like this person passed here and this person passed there, and it's like they made a point of always indicating that.
I know, and even why and how.
Right, or even like police blotters. Like activity like burglaries and assaults and stuff. But really, aside from this house changing hands so often.
Is
like
this
here,
his name? This guy's name is Mustard?
Yeah, Floyd R. Mustard lived there in 1932.
I'm like, Mustard, really?
Yeah. And
was he a colonel in the military?
I don't know.
It's just weird.
But there was Josephs that owned the house from 1934 and all the way up until 1941, and then that's when this fellow died. So I'm thinking they must have sold. 42. 42. But that could have been just the family name, though, too, Joseph.
Oh, probably, yeah.
So this house had quite the history, but nothing violent other than the one gentleman dying. But it was just something to see. Like,
that is cool.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah, that place was amazing.
Yeah, and then in 1914, there was an ad for somebody looking for a respectable girl between 15 and 16 as a mother's helper. 15 and a good home was offered in exchange. So,
Respectable girl.
Thank God.
A respectable 15-year-old.
We don't want no scuzzy 15-year-olds here.
No.
That's right. So, but yeah, like there really wasn't anything too weird, which is nice. But it just really changed hands. Mayhem. No murder, no mayhem. No.
Not until we showed up.
And then that was it.
That's it. Ruined from
That's
then
it.
on.
Done. So, anyway, and then I still got to do history on the Anderson location that you stayed at for a while too. But we can cover that another time too. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm just flipping through some old photo albums.
Oh yeah. You think you might have a picture?
Yes. I got a lot of pictures of the bus garage next door. There's I don't know if you can see this. It's kind of blurry, but do you see that picture with the big windows and stuff?
I see myself. I see your head now.
Yeah.
Hello, self and head.
There's the veranda around it.
Oh, nice.
Was just massive.
Verandas rock.
Verandas are nice.
They're cool.
And then when we moved out, they removed the veranda, and my parents were like, "Jesus,
why would they do that?
Why would they do that?"
Because that space.
Yeah, and that thing really helped
make it bigger, right? Like made it give it grandeur.
And plus, it kept all the heat in.
Oh hell
yeah!
Really?
I wish I had a veranda in my house. So you could dump all your shit when you come home.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it would be like minus 30 outside, and I would be inside the veranda playing with my friends and stuff, and it'd be nice and warm.
Yeah.
I love the veranda. It was so cool.
Well, that was awesome, Tom. Thanks for sharing that story with us. We appreciate that. That was awesome.
I want to figure out who the freaking guardian angel person is.
Yeah,
it's a black man.
I know,
really weird. Mm-hmm. That's just such an odd choice
and
of
very
people.
Specific that two people actually saw it,
especially for that time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's not like when I was like freaking 2 years old. There was like whole bunch of black dudes running around in top hats and tuxes. You know what I mean?
Not as a rule, no.
No. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's very odd.
Oh, and this is the house on Anderson Avenue?
I remember that. Yeah. That was like, it was changed. Wasn't it changed to like, was there a car dealership across from there or something?
Yeah, just down the street.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we were told it was the old lady that lived next door was like something like 80 or something when I lived there. Mm-hmm. And she would tell us how it was when it was first built, it was used as a hospital.
Oh. Well,
for the north end of Winnipeg.
Oh, that's possible.
And each bedroom upstairs was more of a...
Don't say morgue.
No, it was more of a dormitory.
Oh, thank God.
Situation than bedrooms.
Oh, yeah.
And she actually told us that, this was the waiting area. This room was the doctor's office. That room was the, the surgery.
Ooh.
And then downstairs was the storage and the morgue area. And on the very top was the doctor's living quarters, because there was a third story. And that the group home used as office space, and that's where the doctor lived. Like, it was kind of like a 2-room apartment up top.
Right.
And it was really cool. And
your bedroom.
There was so many stories about that place.
Yeah.
It's just so many spirits were in there. It was crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah. I want to research that one a little more. 316 Anderson, I think you said, right? Was
318 Anderson.
318? Okay, I got it written down. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Well, thank you so much for sharing your stories with us tonight.
No problem. Anytime.
And we will contact you. Well, I'll talk to you soon. But say good night, girls. Bye. Thank you, Tom. And I'm not sure when this episode will come out, but I'll let you know before then. And I'm going to do some more research for you on Anderson, definitely. So
cool.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to sign off now. If we all got to go our separate ways.
Yeah.
It's Betty by time here. It's later here.
Have a great night.
We're 2 hours ahead. So
2 hours?
Yeah, he's
Shut
in
up.
Prince George.
Oh my God.
Prince Rupert.
Early
right.
over there.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. So okay. Well, thank you again, my friend.
Thank
it was
you so
awesome.
much.
Okay, I'll talk to you soon.
Take care,
Good
ladies.
night. Bye.
Get home safe. Bye.
For sure.
Bye.
Doesn't the time change tonight?
You poked him on the nose.
I did.
Forward, right?
Yeah, tonight is the time forward.
It
right?
is.
Move. What time does it do it?
Go forward.
2
like
a.m.
2 a.m. or something.
2 a.m.
Well, that was cool. That was my friend Tom.
369 Anderson?
It was 169 Horse and 318 Anderson.
318 Anderson.
It looks creepy. It looks like a school. Like, it looks like it used to be a school.
I can't imagine there was doctors there. I can imagine it might be like a home for unwed mothers or some shit.
Anderson Avenue, yeah.
Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Yeah, so.
I can see, like, a home for unwed mothers where some illegal shit might have happened.
And we're back. So that was a very cool story. Thank you, Tommy. Appreciate your contribution. And we will definitely do research on the Anderson location, because he'd also lived in another place that was really creepy. And we'll look that up. And then I think for that one, we'll have him back on, though. You know what I'm saying? We'll do a tag team thing.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, we'll have him back on. So it's all good. It's all good. But
it's all good.
Cool stories. Very, very, very cool.
I like it.
I like it. We were just talking a moment ago how we have a map that we've ordered on Amazon, and we're going to pin all the locations that listen to us. It only goes back 6 months, though, unfortunately, for Spreaker.
Oh, crap.
I know.
That's okay.
Well, I was thinking, I could probably message them asking them, hey, can I get the data? Like, I pay for this service. Like, can I not get the data?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
If I am so inclined. Anyway.
It's probably greater than what it was at that point anyway, so...
Oh, yeah. And consistent, too, right? So now it's probably more of those places continually? I would hope so.
Right. Well, sort of hope so.
Yeah. But, no, it's been fun, and hopefully we can keep doing this. And fortunately, our tour of Prairie Sky Books is on hold because of this whole COVID thing.
Yeah!
I know.
Oh, fucking virus thing.
Yeah. It was such a good match. It
Who
will
would've
be.
thought?
It will be, But, and I guess that's another thing in bringing that up. I just want to say support local, and support local. Like, You know, a lot of these little guys, these little business owners, they're going to have a hard time. So, you know, if they can get you products and services while everything is shut down, take them